Oh my gosh. Okay, so I have to do this video. I got like no sleep last night. I still feel like I'm in a dream and this is fake and everything's just blurry. If you have ever had like so much adrenaline like through your veins, I honestly don't even know what I'm saying right now, but oh my gosh. Look, can you guys believe it? Like, he's so skinny. He's probably lost 10 pounds. And his nose is scratched up and his chin, I'd say probably from having to catch his own food for the past 3 months. My heart is beating like so fast right now. Like, all he wants to do is just like hug, just to like be loved on. He doesn't even want to be like by himself. It's like he just came back from war. I just can't believe it. I cannot believe it. I have been picturing him. I'm gonna tell you guys the story. I've been picturing, I picture him every single day so much. Like, you guys know when you want to see something so bad, like you picture it in your head. I've been wanting to see him like so bad. So like as soon as I wake up out the window, I always picture him like walking down the hill or being outside the window or being outside our door, or like everywhere we drive, we're always like, oh my gosh, wouldn't that be awesome if we saw Jingle? Like just driving like to the store. I'm always like looking, or if there's anything like down in the road, I always like look to see if it's him. 3 months, guys. I did a video with him on April 11th. 2 days later, April the 13th, it was a Friday, was the last day we saw him. That's almost 3 months ago. Almost 3 months ago. Hey Joanna. And he's just, I'm gonna let him down because he's so exhausted. Like, where do I even begin? So he went missing April 13th. And you guys know, like, we moved, right? So we thought he's just taken off in the woods and maybe he's trying to find his way back to our old house, which is about 10 miles from here. And so we go to our old house every single day and up until yesterday and look, just to check if he's there. And so we have a showing on our house today. So I was over at our old house last night about 7, just like cleaning up, like just sweeping the floors and stuff. And I'm like shaking talking to you guys. And when me and Sophie pulled in like to the driveway at Oakcrest, we sat in the car for like 5 minutes and I just said, I went, Sophie, like, wouldn't that be crazy if like Jingle ran across the road, or like we just found Jingle? We were just talking about this. And she was like, yeah. And I said, like, what would you do? I was like, what would you do? Would you be shocked? She was like, I'll probably cry. Like, we had a whole like 5-minute conversation about this. And so I went inside and she stayed in her phone. She was playing a game on her phone and I was inside cleaning, and Sophie comes running in and she's like, Daddy called, he just found Jingle. And I was like, I thought it was a joke. I was like, what? I was like, are you being serious? She's like, Daddy just found Jingle. And I went and looked at my phone. There was 5 missed calls from David, and I was like, oh my gosh. So I tried to call him. I finally got through. Guys, he's like out in the woods down this gravel road. Like, everything that happened yesterday, it's like scary. Every single, you guys see those movies where it like reverses like the events that happened throughout the day. If every single thing would not have happened last night, like yesterday evening would not have happened, like down to the second, we would have not found him. It's that scary. Like, you can't tell me there's not a God. Like, we prayed every day. We're like, God, please help us find Jingle. Please bring Jingle home. Please, 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 please. We never stopped. I told people even at workout class, they're like, oh, have you found your cat? It's been like 3 months. You know, most people are probably like, oh, he's probably dead. I mean, there's coyotes, snakes, you know, who knows what's in the woods. But I was like, no, he is alive. Like, he's our survivor cat. He has survival skills. Like, I just knew he was alive. And so I called David, and he was like cutting out, and I could hardly hear him. And he's all I could hear was like this gravel road that we ride the four-wheeler, but we ride the four-wheeler down several gravel roads, several woods, and I could hear like every other word, and I was just like, I think I know which road. And I said, so I'm just gonna drop everything, and I left. Like, I don't even think I turned off the lights or anything. And I left, and I'm not kidding you, like, it felt like, it was probably a 15-minute drive, but it felt like we had been driving for an hour and a half. And I pulled down this gravel road. I swear it felt like we were on that gravel road for an hour, and I thought, oh my gosh, I told Sophie, I was like, this is the wrong road. I thought he had like 2% left on his cell phone. He had like half a bar. My phone had no service whatsoever, so I couldn't call him and be like, okay, where are you at? I had no cell phone service. I kept trying to dial out. Sophie was like, you drive, I'll look. And I thought, oh my gosh, I've gone down the wrong road. And all I could think was, it's going to take me like 30 minutes to go through this road, back again, and try the other road. I was thinking, like, so much time. It's just too much time. Because he was on the four-wheeler with Brantley, and he told me, like, he was driving down this gravel road, and they were like, oh, look, that little birdhouse, like, just all these little weird things, like, down to the second, and Jingle, like, jumped out in front of the four-wheeler, like, across the road, and, like, took off running up in the woods. And David has pictured him, I mean, we still yell for him every single day, has pictured him so many times. He was like, was that Jingle? He's like, oh my gosh, that was Jingle. And so they parked the four-wheeler like in the middle of the road. Like, him and Brantley took off running up in the woods, and Brantley's like, no, it's not Jingle. And David's like, yeah, it is. And David was like, I could not have caught him if Brantley wasn't with him, because he said, Brantley, keep track of him, because Jingle was like in flight or fight mode, like he had no clue. And David was like, I couldn't believe it, because he was running, and David had envisioned, like, when he found him, like, Jingle would like be running to his arms, and he was like, Jingle was like running from me, and I don't think he knew who we were. And 4th of July just happened, all those fireworks, like, he's been in survivor mode in the woods for 3 months. So he was like, Brantley, don't lose him. I've got to go back to the road to get your mom. So that's when he made the phone call to me, and he had to go back up in the woods. And so Brantley said, he's over here, he's under this tree. And David said he just saw like his eyes like this. And so David had his hat on, and David took his hat off. And David said it was like a psychotic person, and it was like a flip of a switch. Like, he was like, he realized like who it was, and like freaked out. And David said he was making noises I've never even heard before. He was like just freaking out. And he was still kind of scared, but he came up to David, and David patted him. Like, he didn't just want to like pick him up and like take off running, but he patted him, picked him up, set him down, picked him up, set him down, and finally got him closer to the road. And he like held him there for 30 minutes. David was like, it was like being so tense, like he's like dead today, so tense for so long, like holding him there. And he said, when I saw your car like come around the curve, he said, I just like lost, like tears just started coming out. He said, I knew when I saw your car we had him, because there was like there was one house, but it was like down the road. He said, I even thought about like trying to get to that house and paying them $100 just to take, if I could put Jingle like in their car, but he couldn't get over there. So he said, I knew when I saw your car, we had him. Like, I just knew when I saw your car, we had him. And I pulled up, and he had him like this, and as soon as I got out, there was a four-wheeler coming. I was like, oh my gosh, that's gonna scare him. I was like, David, there's a four-wheeler coming. So David has like claw marks all over his shoulders. He was like, I was not letting him go. So the four-wheeler passed, and he walked over to the car and like threw him in the car. And I was like, oh my gosh, he's gonna jump back out. And I was like, David, just jump in the car too. So David and Jingle were both jumped in the car, and we like, me and the kids were outside the car, and Jingle and David were inside the car, and we're like, what just happened? Like, oh my gosh. And so we got David out of the car, and the kids were back on the four-wheeler with David. And I was in the car with Jingle, and he was like on my shoulder, like all over my face, like meowing like crazy, like, I told him like the whole time, like I was like, we're going home, like you can eat. He was so skinny. Oh my gosh, he's like a miniature version of himself. He is like so skinny. He had like some scrapes right here and like his chin. I got one tick off of him and like his paws were all dirty, but he's already like 100 times better just from us petting him. He looks so much cleaner. I went and got some wet cat food, and he's already on the mend. But it was just like that, even that job back home, I thought, is this happening? Like, I had dreams about it all night long. I woke up and I was just like, oh my gosh, he's laying there. Like, we dreamed and hoped for this for 3 months. Like, every day we woke up, we were like, oh, Jingle, like all these storms we've had, the rain, like we were like, oh my gosh, poor Jingle, wonder where he's at. Like, I knew he was alive. I knew it. And I cannot believe 3 months, guys. Like, I cannot believe we found him. Like, and it wasn't like he showed up at the Humane Society or somebody called us. He ran out in front of David and Brantley driving the four-wheeler. Like, we weren't even gonna go anywhere. I was laying down by the pool and I just happened, David and the kids were up here, I just happened to get up and walk upstairs, and I was like, I'm gonna run to the dollar store and get cat food. And I was like, I'm gonna go to Oakcrest since we have a showing tomorrow. We weren't gonna do anything. We weren't even gonna leave the house. And so since I decided to go out, Sophie was like, I'm gonna go. And I was like, okay. And then David thought, when I left, he was like, well, I'm gonna get Brantley out of the house. He had no intentions of riding his four-wheeler at all. Like, everything happened to the second. And he forgot his cell phone here. Like, they were at the end of the driveway, and he's like, I don't need my phone. He's like, well, I'll get it. He came back up because he changed shorts, and the phone was in his other shorts upstairs. He came back up and got his phone. Like, all of these little things. Like, if Brantley would have went with me and Sophie, he could not have gotten him by himself. Like, Brantley being with him, Brantley like tracked him like the whole time. He couldn't have gotten him if it was by himself. If he didn't have a cell phone, he couldn't have gotten him. If he couldn't have got a hold of me, if his phone didn't have 2%, we couldn't have gotten it. Just all of these what ifs. The odds were like 99-1. Oh my gosh. Like, oh my gosh. I hope what I just said even makes sense. I am like still in a dream. I'm like shaking. When you have so much adrenaline like going through you, and it finally stopped last night, and then you're like, Dad, and then you wake up again and you're just like, oh my gosh, was that a dream? And then we come out and he's like asleep comfortably, and I just can't believe it. I cannot believe we found him. Like, I can't believe it. So, moral of the story is don't ever lose hope on a cat. Don't ever lose hope on anything. I'm telling you, pray every single day. I know some of you guys are probably like, it's a cat. But it was really like a family member to us. If we could have had the police out on a search, we would have. But we just had ourselves. And we kept looking every single day. We would go out on the deck and yell for him. And about last week, David did say, he was like, I think he's gone. And we were just like, gosh, it's been 3 months. Like, there's I don't know. But we still, every time we drove, we looked and looked and looked, even on the road. Like, I've pictured him so many times. I've seen him like a million times. And then when you actually see him, it's like being in a desert. You know, when you see a mirage, you're like, is this real or not? It's real, and he's here. And moral of the story is don't give up hope. Pray. Don't ever stop praying. I don't care if it's been 10 years. Don't ever stop praying. I'm just so excited. So I want to come on here and share this story with you guys. And now I'm going to go cuddle with Jingle.